If you're like me and you've already collected all of the released fighters, I think it's time for you to check out some custom fighters. In today's episode, we're gonna check out and here are the boys, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, aka the TMNT. So these guys are a multi-hero character, kind of like we had Cloak and Dagger with 2 characters and the Raptors with 3 characters. This time we have 4, and you have to defeat all 4 to defeat the character of the TMNT. So I think first let's look at the miniatures here. Once again, got them from the Meeplesmith. You know, I'm in love with them. So looking at Leonardo first, they just absolutely nailed it once again. Never have a complaint. I just love the details of even just having the floor be that cobblestone with them. And here's Leonardo with his 2 katanas. I think I probably would have preferred if they had like little katana holders on the back that look kind of cross pattern, but not complaining too much. I do want to point out his katanas here are slightly flexible. So they're actually pretty good at withstanding drops. I have dropped him a few times and, you know, never breaks. So we can also quickly compare him to one from the actual game, another multi-hero, the Raptor. So we can compare them again. Obviously, the Meeplesmith always knows what they're doing. The bases are exactly the same thickness and everything. And then the proportions are perfect to make them look like they are also from Unmatched. Once again, just need a dark wash on these guys and they will match perfectly, but I guess I'm never gonna get around to putting the dark wash on them. But then we can also quickly take a look at Raphael with his 2 size. Once again, I was a little bit worried about those little pieces breaking off, but I kind of dropped them all at the same time, so it should be good. Mine has a little bit of a defect, but I don't think that's too much of an issue. He has a little bit of a hole in his head. But then they have the bricks with the manhole cover there. But yeah, he looks great. And I think my favorite, Donatello, which actually is my favorite turtle, so that's probably why he's my favorite miniature, with his big boa staff here. I just like the details of the wrapping on it. He looks fantastic. I don't know if I really pay attention, but yeah, even the tie on the back of their headband there looks really good. Yeah, looks great on all of them. I think he's just a little bit smaller. Actually might have broken off there, but yeah, no, still looks great. And then he has more of that also cobblestone-y look on him. And of course we can bring in another Raptor just to compare. I mean, as I said, looks like it's from the same game. Just needs a little bit of a dark wash and they'll be perfect. Actually, you know what? If we're gonna be comparing, might as well compare with the other animal in Unmatched that has a boa staff. Well, at least not a boa, but at least a big old staff. We can compare those 2 again. Once again, I think proportions are good. He's more human-like size, but I mean, anytime you see a human next to turtles, they are always big old beefcakes. So yeah, and then lastly, let's look at Michelangelo here. He's got his 2 nunchucks, and once again, I'm just like, whenever I see like that's kind of overhang with these chains and his nunchucks, I'm always worried about those breaking off, but I have not had an issue, and I'm definitely very clumsy. And then his looks like, I want to say he's inside of a pizzeria with like tile floor. And then with the Meeplesmith miniatures here, I've gotten a few orange ones, and they have like this translucent kind of almost glowing orange base, which I think is very cool. It doesn't technically match with how the Unmatched bases look. They're usually just kind of like a gloss, where it's kind of more like slightly see-through. But I do like it. And then before we move on to looking at the deck here, I guess we should also look at their health dials. So this one here is Leonardo's, and I love how the backs look. Of course, the thing in there kind of pushed right through the letters, but the TMNT, the turtle back shell here. And of course, all of them only go up to 5. And if you might have noticed, I got a little bit better at making these guys here. It definitely looks a little bit smoother. Obviously, that cutout is still a little bit harder to do, but I got way better at making those center and also make sure that the punch out looks a little nicer. I got these a little bit thicker, so they definitely match up to the Unmatched ones a little bit better. Unmatched ones are still a little bit bigger than the ones that I have been making, but it's not too big of a difference whenever you actually just play in the game. But yeah, I think they look fantastic. We can just quickly take a look at the other ones. Obviously, they're all going to be basically the same thing, just a different color with their name on the bottom. And then here is Donatello. And then lastly, Michelangelo. And yeah, so they all have 5 health, equaling a total of 20. So if you look at their character card here real fast, we can kind of take a look. You might have noticed it's actually split up into 4. They actually each have their own abilities. So for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Team N team, they are all melee with 20 health, so 5 each. We're looking at Leonardo first. He has the ability Know When to Strike, has +1 to all defense cards. So anytime he plays a defense card, he gets +1 to it, and that does not count versatile. It has to be specifically a defense card. And then Raphael has Rage Field +1 to all attack cards, so kind of the opposite. And then Donatello is the gadget guy. He has +1 to all versatile, so it's +1 to defense, +1 to attack, +1 to versatile. So it kind of changes how you work with him. So he might be your main attacker when you're playing with him. He might try to take as many hits, and then he's kind of, you know, versatile with both with the +1. And then lastly, Michelangelo, he has skateboarding, which has a movement of 3. So everybody else moves 2, he moves 3. He's a little bit faster, kind of get you with those nunchucks. So let's take a look at their deck here. I have it split up into each character and then the ones that they can all use. So each character has 1 attack, 1 defense, 1 versatile, and 1 scheme, and then they have a couple of enemies that they can all use. So first, let's look at our boy, the leader, Leonardo. He has an attack of 4 specific to him, a boost of 4, so huge. There's once again only 1 copy. They have 1 of each. He has a Twin Blades. You may play this card against 2 adjacent enemy fighters at once. This effect cannot be canceled. So he can kind of get in between 2 different characters, attack them both. It's kind of the way it's worded. It's kind of weird because I kind of home rule it, either being that you play it and then once you reveal it, you then show that you're attacking 2 different characters, or play it face up and then announce which 2 characters you're attacking. I think the latter should be how you play it, but I guess that's a little bit up to the home rule there. So yeah, I would say you have to play it face up and say that you're attacking 2 if you're going to do so. But a boost of 4 is kind of crazy. So here we go. Determination. This is his defense card. Once again, only 1 copy for Leonardo. Another boost of 4, pretty crazy. He has an after combat. If you lost the combat, regain 1 health. And technically, this is also a 4 because he gets that +1 whenever he has a defense card. And then here is his versatile from Leonardo, also 4/4. I think that's just kind of his theming here is all 4s. Once again, 1 copy. This is Ninja Master. You may place Leonardo in an unoccupied space in his zone. So a quick either attack and run away or a defense and run away. Definitely like that. And then Meditation, Leonardo's Scheme. He is the calm one of the group. Once again, there's that kind of back holster that I was talking about that I would love on the miniature, but can't complain. Another 4 with him. 1 copy of this, regain 2 health. It's just quick, regain 2 health, which for a 5 health hero, you're definitely 2 health is going to make a big difference. So that is all the cards for Leonardo specifically. Once again, 4, because 4 heroes, 4. Here is Raphael with 3 attack, 2 boost, 1 copy, Angry Fighter. During combat, your opponent reveals a random card. They may discard it. If they choose to keep it, add its boost value to this card's value. So I really like that kind of thing. Kind of adds a lot of decision making for your opponent, where it's depending on how good the card is and what the boost value is. Either they get rid of it and just only fight against a 3, or they, keep it and they have to make Raphael even angrier when they come after him. And then technically, I do want to correct myself, this is not a 3 because Raphael gets that Rage Field +1 to attacks, so he actually is going to be a 4. I guess that's kind of the theme here, they have all 4s, but let's see what else they have. So this is his defense card, boost of 2 for Raphael specifically, 1 copy, Hard Shell. After combat, draw the top card from your deck, then place any card from your hand at the top of your deck. It can be the card you just drew. So like that, you can grab a card, figure out what card you don't want, you'll be getting it next time you maneuver, probably on your next turn since you're using this as a defense, and then you get it back, so that's pretty nice. And then it's going to boost of 2. And then Raphael's versatile card of boost of 2 again, 1 copy, Ninja Master. I think all of their versatiles are called Ninja Master. If the boost value of the opponent's card is lower than their card value, their boost value becomes their card value. So very interesting. It's kind of an intimidation. And then This is Raphael's Scheme, boost of 2, 1 copy, Frustration. Place Raphael in an unoccupied space, gain 1 action. So once again, he's getting mad that he's not in the front lines. So once again, he's probably going to be a good attacker because he gets that +1 for attacks. So he is going to get mad, get in there, and then keep punching away. So that's his 4 cards there. And then for Donatello, my favorite, my boy, this is his, once again, 4 attack here with 3 boost with 1 copy, Calculated Strike. Immediately, you may discard a card to ignore your opponent's card value. So that's pretty good. Getting rid of a card and you just get to attack them with 4. It says card value, so their effect still goes off. And so they might have, this is immediately, so if they have a during combat that changes their value, it won't be, actually it says ignore your opponent's card value. So I guess it's also potentially up to home rules there. If you, if their during combat effect changes their value, you still ignore it. And then we have Donatello's defense here for 4, 3 boost, 1 copy. Keep your distance with his big old boa staff. Love this image too. Move one of the fighters in the combat up to 3 spaces. So it could be you or the opponent. You could potentially defend with this one, move your opponent to a good space so that Raphael can attack him on your turn. And then Versatile, this is a 3, but technically with Gadget Guy, this is a 4 with a 3 boost. And Ninja Master, yep, all their Versatiles are all called the same thing. Immediately return your opponent's card to their hand, look at their hand, and choose a different card for them to play. It can be the same card. So you're kind of choosing what defense you want, which once again, this is a 4 with his ability there. And this is Donatello's Scheme, the Tinkerer with a boost value of 3. Choose an opponent. That opponent must discard a versatile card or else take 1 damage. So, keeping the theme of versatile, also purple. So here is Michelangelo's 4 cards here. 4 attack, 1 boost, 1 copy, the Chucker Punch. During combat, add the opponent's boost value to this card's value. So that could hit pretty hard. And then his defense card here for Michelangelo. He might enjoy some pizza. It's a 1 boost, 1 copy, Pizza Time. There we go. After combat, if you won the combat, regain 1 health. If you lost the combat, draw a card. I like that card a lot. And here's his Versatile Ninja Master. 4 value there. 1 boost, 1 copy. Immediately, if the opponent's card has an equal or lesser boost value to this card, cancel its attacks. So if their card has a 1 or a 0. And then lastly, Michelangelo's Scheme here. Cowabunga, had to have a card named that. 1 boost, 1 copy. All allied fighters in your zone regain 1 health. So once again, pretty good. That'll be a maximum of 4 if they were all in your zone. And you know, with 5 health each, one health extra each is gonna do a lot there. So now we can get into our any cards. This is ones that all of them can use. If you notice, about half of the cards in the deck are specific to those 4. So this is an attack of 2 for any, 1 boost, 3 copies. So now we're finally getting more than 1 copy of everything. Take the fight to them. After combat, if you won the combat, move one of your other fighters up to 4 spaces. They can move through enemy fighters. And that's not one that was in the combat, it's just any of your other fighters. So you can be attacking with 1 and have him jump in from way over there. And we have 3 of those, so that's the only any attacks that we have. And then here are our defense cards. So those attacks, remember that Raphael gets a 3 instead of a 2. And then this will be for Leonardo, he gets a 3 instead of a 2 here. For any boost of 2, backlash, we got 3 of these. After combat, if you won the combat, move the fighter or the enemy fighter up to 2 spaces. So you can push them away a little bit or even push them into one of your other fighters there. So we got 3 of those, that's our only defense for any. And then here's our versatile, we got 2 copies of these, so it's 2 value, 1 boost, turtle power. During combat, if your fighter is adjacent to another Ninja Turtle, this card is 4 instead. So it incentivizes you keeping them together. So 2 copies of that. And then here we go, we got a feint. Gotta have one of these. This is a 2 versatile with 1 boost, 3 copies. Immediately cancel all effects on your opponent's card. We already knew that. We've seen this card a million times. So that's all of our versatiles. And then lastly, our schemes here. So this is scheme for any, boost 2, 2 copies. The Brothers. Choose a Ninja Turtle, place another Ninja Turtle in an unoccupied space in their zone. So just quickly bringing them back in the fight. So it's really hard to pin these guys down because a lot of the cards let the other guys move either just to any space or through fighters. So it's really hard to corner these guys. And then our last card here, only one copy of it. It is Ninja Vanish, boost of 3, 1 copy. And this is remove all Ninja Turtles from the board and end your turn. At the start of your next turn, place each Ninja Turtle in any unoccupied space. So this is kind of like the Invisible Man's ability here. They brought it over to the Ninja Turtles here. I've noticed anytime there's a custom ninja type character, they love to add that type of card. So yeah, so that's all the cards, all of our heroes and their health dials. Let's see what my final thoughts are. Alrighty, so that's the Ninja Turtles there. I really like these guys. If I'm ever playing with custom characters, I end up choosing these guys a lot. I think it's very fun to have 4 characters. It does seem a little bit like it's overpowered because a lot of their values are 4 and they don't have a lot of 2s or 3s or anything like super high. But actually it ends up like kind of evening out a lot because of how fragile all 4 of them are. And once you knock one out, let's say Michelangelo dies first, I mean, now you only have these 3 and it just kind of like, just like the Raptors, it kind of hurts more and more you lose them. And I do want to take a look at the deck here real fast. If you notice, this is all of the character specific cards and this is all the Ennies. There's quite a bit more of character specifics. So once you start losing characters, I mean, you lose a chunk of the deck that you cannot use anymore because they just, they're useless. The other thing is that some of them have big boost values, 3s and 4s, but there's not really any cards that utilize boost. So honestly, a lot of times Leonardo is going to take a lot of damage if the opponent's using his boost against him. There's also only about 6 healing in the whole deck. I mean, Michelangelo can do 4 healing if he can heal all 4, and then Leonardo also gains 2 back. So not a lot of healing either. So it's a very fun balancing game of having all this versatility with 4 different fighters, 4 different abilities, all the different cards they can use. But then you are kind of tied down to the fact that you're 1 player, not 4 players. So you have, your hand limit where you may not have the right cards for Donatello and he just gets knocked out with his 5 health. Alrighty, so if you want to get the Ninja Turtles here in your game, I got all of the miniatures here from themeeplesmith.com. They actually sell these guys in a 4-pack or a 6-pack. The 6-pack also comes with Master Splinter and April O'Neil. So that's up to you if you want to get those extra fighters. I have not used them, but I think the pack was a little bit cheaper if you got all 6. And then if you would like to get the health dials, I will leave a link in the description for these guys. They are just little cardboard punch outs I got at makeboardgames.com, and then I will leave the images for the printing. The only thing that you need to do when you get them is to punch out the hole and cut out that little window, and then you will have some perfect health dials. And then lastly, we have the deck here. The actual printing I got done at makeboardgames.com as well, but the deck I got from unmatched.decks, kind of. So here is our creator, the Real Ninja Tree. He designed the deck here and got all the images all made for the actual deck. But I was not a huge fan of the card back, so I ended up making my own custom card back. So I will leave a link in the description for just the card back, as well as the hero card here. He had them kind of split up into 4 hero cards, which I thought was a little bit messy, so I also ended up making this custom hero card. I will also leave that in the description. So yeah, if you guys want to get these guys, feel free to follow those links and you can get them all printed and cut out for yourself. I gotta go, my toast is burning.